What's up, God's Youth? My name is Abdiel Ramdiel, and right now we are in Virginia at our beautiful estate called Holly Knolls. So this estate is very influential and carries so much history. Through the doors, through the walkways, even through the property, there's just history filled in every little part of it. Why is it so important? Well, some consider this property to be the birthplace of the civil rights movement. Right on the tree behind me, some say that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wrote his I Have a Dream speech right underneath there. And it's super important to understand as young people how far we've come, the sacrifices that were made. We see right now this movement of victimhood over victoriousness. We're choosing to be victims instead of looking at what was paid for. I was listening to some of the stories that were told here about how this place was a refuge for a lot of black men and women who were influential pastors, leaders, where they can stay because they weren't allowed in hotels back then. And we see the sacrifice that they did to go against the Jim Crow era, to see all of the stuff that happened, and literally in these walls. And they didn't do it in vain so we can just be victims. So today we're gonna go through these beautiful artifacts. So you're gonna see, moving forward, you're gonna see just some good conversations, some interviews that we're gonna be having here at Holly Knolls. So I'm excited to bring you with. Okay, so what is your name?
Dwayne Moore.
So what position do you serve here?
I'm the Chief of Staff of the Black Conservative Federation.
Okay, so this is, so one thing I had a question was like, how significant is this house? Because a lot of people don't realize how significant this house really is and like the importance of it and what it has to do with black conservatism.
Yeah, this house is very significant. It was a place where civil rights leaders would come and discuss policy. It's a place where the United Negro College Fund was created, which again aligns with conservative policies when it comes to self-dependence and not waiting on the government, people coming together. And also a place where Martin Luther King Jr. wrote part of his I Have a Dream speech. And even though that can be arguable whether it's conservative or liberal or not, it's also the belief that you can have a dream and you can achieve something independently in America, which conservatives believe. So this place being a home where leaders would come is very significant, and we're happy to be able to be here.
Yeah, and one thing you said is like even the civil rights meetings that they will have and they will discuss here, it was for conservative values. Because right now, what we're seeing is the society is teaching black people that they have to depend on the system to get through. So like, what do you have to say for that, Connor?
Yeah, I think that when I look at the major successes that Black America has had that we don't talk about, from 1865 to 1965, it was with the ethos of being independent from the government, doing yourself, having our own colleges, working hard, being innovative, not waiting for anybody. And what I've seen from the left is this idea that the government should do everything, which is not a good thing, because you're dependent on everybody else and you're dependent on tax dollars, which isn't a permanent thing. So for me, I think we got to get back to some of the ideals that were birthed in this place, which is coming together as a community, not for just photo ops, but for real substantive conversations, so we can start being independent again and building our neighborhoods and not waiting on the government or anybody else, because it has to start with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So we're here with Stephen Davis, which in my opinion is one of the top faces of the black conservative movement in the USA. Actually, I was telling somebody that I started watching you and Officer Tatum before I even watched Charlie Kirk, which is crazy to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, the first question I have for you is, what does it mean to be a black conservative?
Well, standing up for conservative morals, values, and ethics. But first and foremost, when I talk about conservatism, what I'm always referring to is biblical conservatism, the biblical and moral ethics that undergird the foundational essence of our country, right? things like natural rights, things like rights in general, things like our rights come from God and not the government, like these leftists believe, or unlike these leftists believe. They believe that rights come from the government and not God. So believing in things like that and upholding those morals and ethics that are necessary to really continue on with a flourishing nation, all right? John Adams, our second president, he said that the Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people, and it is wholly inadequate to the government of any other, and we're failing because we're failing to uphold morality and religion. So when it comes to a black conservative and black conservatism, it's about upholding that biblical moral essence. And any type of conservative, not just black, but any type of conservative, is it's upholding those things that are necessary for the flourishing and the continuation of our country.
Yeah, and this is one thing that we're talking about because this is for my ministry, God's Youth. And one thing I've been talking about the last month is about being a victim. Instead of being a victim, be a victor. And I was like just going through, I mean, look at where we're at today, right? We had all these people who had every right to say that they were victims, but they chose to be victors. That walked these halls, that rode underneath these trees, and we don't realize that nowadays all the sacrifice that they did for us to just still continue walking around saying that we're victims to society. So what was your turning point in your life?
2017, 2018, I wanted to jump into the realm of politics. I was very leftist minded, very racially minded. I couldn't stand white people. I was told that they're going to hold me down and hold me back. You know, the typical tropes that we hear within the black community. And I wanted to jump into the realm of politics just so I can understand and go up against Trump and Trump supporters so I can beat them all down with facts and beat my chest and make myself feel better about myself.
Like the Hulk.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, just a very dumb one. Definitely wasn't the smart Hulk. It was definitely the brainless one.
Now he's the MAGA Hulk.
Now, there we go. So, you know, I started doing my research, and, you know, as they say, you know, one of the best ways to educate yourself is just by diving in and learning for yourself, not being spoon-fed by other people, but really learning for yourself. And when I started doing that, I started realizing I agree with Trump's policies. I agree with a lot of the things that he's saying and the things that he's espousing. And it led me down a path of understanding what is it that I really truly believe. Do I believe in the Bible or not? Because if I believe in the Bible, then I cannot hate the white man based on the color of his skin or based on anything, because at the end of the day, that's my brother. Right? We are brothers and sisters in Christ. Love your neighbor as yourself, and I've been abdicating my responsibilities when it comes to that. So I made a switch, made a change, and here I am on the right side of history, promoting love, promoting unity, but unity with people who are going to ultimately build us up and build up the body of Christ, as opposed to tearing us down, and understanding that we are not victims.
So yeah, even with, for instance, the church not getting involved in these issues, like we see pastors that are too scared to address it. And because they're scared of losing their 501c, money, attendance, whatever. And you have pastors who are like Jamal Bryant, who are egging on the victimhood mentality within black people in general. Like, we walk into so many people who are just, they feel like they've had different opportunities handed to them. They feel like they're not worth it. They're not worth the sacrifice. Then what was the point of us being here today? That's my question. That's my question to everybody. What's the point of Jesus dying on the cross in the first place?
Come on.
So
I really hate when these people promote this ideology, especially these wolves in sheep's clothing. The New Testament is rife with, you know, multiple people, you know, Paul, John, Peter, talking about these false prophets that are going to be in this day and age, right? One of my favorite verses is 2 Timothy 4, verses 2 through 5. It takes a little bit to get through, so just bear with me. It says, preach the word. This is what Paul was talking to Timothy, one of his last letters. He says, preach the word, be prepared in season and out of season, correct, rebuke, and encourage with great patience and careful instruction, for the time will come when people will not put up a sound doctrine. Instead, to suit their own desires, they will gather around them a great number of teachers to say what their itching ears want to hear. They will turn away from the truth and turn aside to myths. But you, keep your head in all situations, endure hardship, do the work of an evangelist, discharge all the duties of your ministry. There is going to come a time and place, as Paul was talking to Timothy and as he's now talking to us, where people will not put up a sound doctrine. The sound doctrine or this non-sound doctrine that's happening is coming from people like Jamal Bryant, from these pastors and preachers who are tickling the ears or scratching the ears of these people who want to hear a certain doctrine that's going to appeal to them and their pride and their skin color and their melanin. But instead of giving them the gospel of Jesus Christ, which is what we're supposed to be giving these people. So the very fact that we have these wolves in sheep clothing, these false teachers, these false pastors who are leading the flock down this path of degradation just goes to show that we are indeed in the last days.
Yeah, and then it also showing that it's honestly causing reverse racism. Because I literally will have conversations with people like, oh, you can't be racist to white people. I mean, that's stupid. It really is. So it's like we're ignorant to think that, oh, we're the only ones that can be oppressed, but we can't oppress others.
Right.
So by you feeling that you're being oppressed, you're oppressing the other races.
Absolutely.
Like you even said you had a hate towards white people.
Yeah.
At one point.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, now we like to joke about it, but it's really serious. You know, some white people feel they hate that they're white.
Yes. You know what's funny, because Ibram X. Kendi, one of his famous, he's one of the foremost critical theorists, right? Critical race theorists. And he says the only way to remedy past discrimination is present discrimination. Yeah. The only way to remedy present discrimination is future discrimination. Yeah. So what he's promoting is fighting fire with fire, past racism with present racism, past hate with present hate, past discrimination with present discrimination. That's his remedy. So white people were discriminatory towards blacks. Well, the way we fix it is by just being discriminatory towards whites. And you see this when it comes to DEI policies. You see this when it comes to these black quotas and things of this nature, where they're excluding white people based on the color of their skin, which is what? Racism. But this is crazy that they say that black people can't be racist, but what they're appealing to is this racial morality, right? And racial immunity. So this is the type of mentality that they're espousing, racial immunity, that based on the color of my skin, I am now no longer capable of being this thing that everybody can be. Racism is a mentality. It's not a skin color. Yep. So the very fact that they promote things like this just goes to show how intellectually dishonest and inept they really are when it comes to such topics.
Yeah, that's true. That's all the time we have for today. But always love seeing you on TV, seeing you on videos, and excited to do this video with you. So we have the Black Hulk here.
How about that?
They were telling us that we're a dynamic duo because we're the same height, but he makes me feel
No,
small.
we're not the same height. He's bigger than me, and I'm gonna bust his kneecaps for it. No, it's really a pleasure, and I appreciate what you do.
Thank you, I appreciate it. God bless you.
God bless you.